Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steen, lead handicapper at WHINERS.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over WHINERS.com.
And together, we get together and we do this each and every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday, as we try to guide everybody and help you in that journey to head back to the window. So, Scott, how did your Tuesday go?
Went well. Ended up sweeping the board. I know both of us had a play that we liked, plus money. We'll get to that in a little bit. But besides that, I ended up having the Heat minus 1.5. Nice second half there by Miami. And I also had the over in Binnington saves, and that went well over. So overall, very nice Tuesday.
Yep, very good. I was every hockey play I gave out hit. I picked every winner. And
System?
No system. My system, I'm a casual fan of hockey. I'm an intense fan and massive data accumulator on the other two sports.
Okay.
So I went 3-3. So hockey plays were good. I gave out. You had identified the Binnington thing, I think, as I did, because I talked about that yesterday on Chris's show, that it was at 30.5. And that was a gift.
I got it at 29.5.
Oh, it was a bigger gift.
Mm.
Either way, unless you had 51, you were a winner.
Yeah, Colorado tends to get a bunch of shots on net. And from what you can tell, in game one, I thought St. Louis would potentially pull off an upset, maybe make a series out of it. They got outplayed by a dramatic margin, but the Avalanche hit the post about 5 times.
Yeah.
So the Avalanche could have easily have won that game 4-2, 5-2, name the score. It's going to be tough because the Avalanche right now, there's a reason why they're around plus 170 to win the title. They're just an insanely good hockey team.
Yep. They are relentless, I think is the word I would use to describe that team. Andrew in the house. What up, Andrew? Good to see you. JC Stone. That's right. Scott brothers are in the hizzy. James Mounts is here. Binnington was awesome. Yeah, it's a real shame. It's like when a pitcher goes out and throws, 7 great innings, gives up 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and the bullpen comes in and pukes on their shoes. It's a lot like that. You can't you can't blame it. You can't put any part of that on Binnington.
No, the goalie that I feel the worst for is Ottinger, because he went for a Game 7 masterpiece on the road and lost in overtime. Binnington's masterpiece was in Game 1. I still think Colorado is going to win the series. I thought that it would be very close. Now I'm not so sure, but you can really look at a bunch of quality goalie performances in the postseason. That's been the story for me. There's just been a lot of really solid goaltending.
And it's weird because a lot of those games have gone over the total.
Yes.
It's just an insane amount of shots these guys are facing.
Well, I mentioned yesterday the two totals for the games were at 7. Or they started at 7. I believe they closed at 6.5. And neither game was close.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we'll have to keep an eye and see if that actually ends up being a trend or not. So
I have an over, so we're going to see. But you give me the Rangers and Hurricanes 5.5, I'm going to take the over.
All right, very good. Hey, Ninja, what's up? I was actually going back and looking at some of my old videos, and Ninja was there. I think Ninja's been there since the beginning. So
beginning of time?
Since the beginning of time. That's right, Scott. Since dinosaurs roamed the earth, Ninja has been hunting them. So, yes, that's right.
I'll take the Meteor at minus 400.
I'll lay the money with the Meteor. That's a terrible bet because you're not going to collect if you win. You could only lose.
Yep.
Andrew said he hit the Celtics first quarter because I thought it might take Miami a while to get it going. Yep, because of the layoffs. Yep. Took Miami plus 3.5 in the game. That's threading the needle, and you got there. But choked on 3 player props by a total of 2 points. 2 and 3 yesterday. All right. Big X. What up, X? I had one of my players in my comment section that had the first 2 winners. I can't remember what they had, but they had, and I can't remember who it was. They had over 4.5 rebounds. He had 4. Missed a 3-teamer by half a rebound.
I'm trying to think of who that would be. Tyler Hero, maybe?
Nope.
Tucker would be more than 4.5.
Well, look and see who had 4 rebounds. It's pretty easy.
Grant Williams?
Are you looking at it?
No, I'm taking a guess. Grant Williams does sound like a good guess, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Okay.
You said the Royal Braves Brewers under 6.5.
Well, they're at 6.
Definitely not going to happen. Well, if they
stranger
do,
things have happened.
if they do, it'll be on Cops for tomorrow. So
Yes, it will.
Not the bad boys version, but the that version.
What you want? What you want? What you want to do?
Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Not just the guys that are watching live, although I'm counting on all of you to do that while you're sitting there. Smash that like button if you would, and of course check out the all the offerings that we have here on the YouTube channel. So get subscribed while you're there. Both the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel and the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel. Great shows on the Max Wagers Network starting at noon. Scott, what's at noon?
Oh, we're doing this again?
Yeah. It's been.
We're not doing this again.
I try to do it once a week.
No, we're not gonna do this again. No.
All right, noon. It's Midday Money with who, Scott?
We're not gonna do this again.
John Higgs. Jesus.
I know the answers. It's just we do it every week.
I just want to see if you're getting any better.
If I'm getting any better?
Yeah.
I think I've gotten a little bit better at it.
Okay. All right. What else?
Morningwood.
Allie at 1 with Morningwood, right?
Then you got just parlays.
Yep.
Then you got our show.
Yep.
Then you have soccer
with
former Arizona coach Sean Miller.
There you go.
And then you have
not him at all.
No, not him at all. Different guy, same name. And then you have Game Time Decision.
Who's on that show?
That show that's Tim, right?
Yeah. Tim and Nick Earl and Indianapolis Jim. No.
Detroit Lenny.
Detroit Lenny. That's right.
I thought it was Youngstown Lenny.
Youngstown Lenny. That's right.
I said Indy. You confused me because it's just a different state.
I couldn't remember. I said Youngstown.
So. It was Youngstown Lenny.
What else?
I don't know.
Ninja should be on your show for one time. We've talked about doing that, about having some sort of a contest. By the way, I've talked about this before. I'm still in the process of the contest right now.
Okay.
I'm still putting together. It's still going to be really cool. It's going to be way more money than you think it's going to be. I'm just saying.
Who are you talking to?
Talking to the crowd.
Okay.
We're talking to our viewers.
All right.
That's who I'm talking to.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
That's right. That's who I'm always talking to, Scott. I'm always talking to the viewers. Except for right now when you ask me a question.
Yeah. We have any sponsors we want to talk about?
Nah, I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah, our good folks, our good friends over at Caesars, man. Caesars Sportsbook. They got it going on. Not just JB Smoove as their spokesperson, but they've got a great deal for first-time bettors, first-time depositors. If Caesars is in your state, this is a great opportunity if you haven't played with Caesars yet. If you've got a lock, if you've got that game, like what are you locked into today, Scott? What's your play of the day?
My play that is the over in the Rangers Hurricanes game.
There you go. So if you've got the over, if you're locked in, right, you're going to ride the red hot Reichel. You want to bet $1,000. Maybe you're not usually $1,000 better, but hey, you could be today because Caesars says no harm, no foul. If you lose that first bet, they're offering first bet insurance up to $1,100. Whatever you bet, you win. Congratulations. If you lose, Caesars will make it good, and it was like it never happened. So make sure you get signed up for Caesars. The code is ATSWINCCR. The description, the link and the code are in the description of today's video. So check that out with Caesars Sportsbook. There you go. Scott, let's find out what happened yesterday. Speaking of going back to the past, let's do it. Let's check in on yesterday's action. Find out who did what. Who were the winners? Who were the whiners, if you will? The people that took it in the shorts, the people that took it to the bank. Let's find out who you are on the Hump Day edition of Call Dem Cops. All right. Well, let's get it rolling, shall we? We're going to take a look. My goodness, I have way too many windows open. Sorry, boys. All right, Scott. We're going to start in the NHL. If you had the Lightning team total under 3 against the Panthers, had 1 goal through the first 2 periods, you're off to a fine start. But wait a minute. Can I interest you in not 1, not 2, not even a push? But how about that 3rd goal in the 3rd period? They finished with 4. 4 is greater than 3. If you had under 3 there, look good. And then it didn't. Call the cops.
And looking at baseball, if you had the Reds and Guardians under 8, it was 4-2 going into the bottom of the ninth. And then Cleveland scored 2 runs to tie the game in the bottom of the ninth. They didn't even win the damn game, but the game went over because it went to extras and it ended 5-4.
Beware the even number unders. Beware the even number unders.
Couldn't even win the game.
That's when you hate it. And
Yeah.
they came back and did it for no reason.
Like, why'd you bother? You know?
And hey, speaking of no reason at all, if you had the Yankees on the run line against the Orioles, Yankees led by 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, nobody on. Can I interest you in a single, and a double? That'll score a run. The Yankees, they win by 1. Congratulations if you had the Yankees on the money line, but if you had them on the run line, time to call the cops.
Chapman is easily the weakest link in that bullpen, and I hate it. Please trade him at some point.
Who would you like to see as the closer?
I thought Holmes should have been closing yesterday, but they've been using Chapman a lot recently. He's been pretty spotty, which is something you kind of expect from Chapman at this point. Basically, anybody else has been unhittable with the exception of Loizaga. But if I had to pick one guy, I'd probably go Clay Holmes.
All right. Very good. From your lips to God's ears, sir. Hey, there was some good news out there. There were some nice, easy wins. You didn't have to sweat it. You didn't have to worry about the third period. You didn't have to worry about extra innings. You didn't have to worry about nothing except making sure your glass was full because you had a nice, easy Tuesday night. Because why? Well, my friend, you were sitting in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Cubs minus 1.5 against the Pirates, I believe it's the second straight day we've had this on the rocking chair. They led 6-0 after 4 innings. And once again, it takes the Pirates about 2 weeks to score 6 runs. The Cubs ended up winning that game 7-0.
Hey, I don't know if you knew this or not, but they score a lot of runs in Colorado. Did you know that?
I did hear that somewhere.
Yeah, they've been killing it out there lately, and yesterday was no exception. If you had the Giants-Rockies over 11, it didn't have to wait long. They put up 10 in the first 4, and no 5-inning heroics there as it stayed under the total. Miraculously, it landed 17. Congratulations, sitting in the rocking chair.
And the last one, if you had the second game of the doubleheader between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers over 8, can I interest you in 10 runs in the first 2 innings?
That'll do, Pig.
Game landed 15.
Absolutely brutal. All right. Well, let's take a look at this. The NBA got started with their conference finals yesterday. Pretty good game for a while as Boston, if they were scoring like the Savannah Bananas, Scott, Boston would have won the game.
It was a game of 2 halves, I believe they like to call it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was really a game of 1 quarter.
Yeah, that's fair, too.
Because Boston won all the first, the second, and the third quarter. I mean, the fourth quarter. But the third quarter, they had a bit of a problem.
They got outscored 39-14, I think.
Yeah, 25-point difference there. So not ideal at all. But there was somebody that kind of led the charge for the Miami Heat. And we talk about the second half, and that's exactly what this guy did. Scott, let's find out who it is. And if you had the Miami Heat, you probably already know who it is. But for the rest of you, we're going to find out together. Let's find out who it is, Scott. It's today's gambling hero of the day. Take it away, sir.
So we're going to go to Miami's best player, Jimmy Butler, who has been amazing in the postseason. And nothing really changed because Jimmy Butler had 41 points, including 27 points in the second half alone, as he led the Heat to an 11-point win. And of course, the Heat were 1.5-point favorites. Then with the COVID news for Horford and Smart's injury, the line closed at 4.5. But when you cover that number and one of the guys drops 41, he's a gambling hero.
Yep, absolutely. He was critical in that second half as they gave us just a sniff of hope there in the last 2 minutes, Scott, as they cut it to 9, and you can see, well, maybe we get a turnover here, a missed shot, a couple of threes.
Wait, who's we?
Anybody that might have had Boston.
I was going to say, because I had the Heat.
So. Yeah, I know. Well, funny story, I ended up having the Heat as well once the Horford news and Smart news came out. But we had the Boston's on the premium side before any of the injury news was announced. So
once again, I'm not going to overreact to game one, even before the COVID news and everything. I just thought it was a terrible spot. And it seemed like Boston simply ran out of gas in the second half.
Yep.
But it does seem like Boston might have a potential COVID outbreak. I'm not going to go that far, but it does seem like there are some rumors. A lot of players or people might have been in proximity to Horford. So maybe you'll see some type of thing happen in the next couple days. But assuming Horford's out for the next, let's just say the next game, and Smart is maybe back at 50, 60%. If Boston goes down 2-0, do you have faith in them to win the series? Or do you think they need to win game two?
Well, I was going to state the obvious. Well, they'd certainly be in better position if they won game two. No, I don't think they're out of it if they lose the first two in Miami. This team has shown a resiliency, and they've shown an ability to, take it to 7 if they need to. I would think they're obviously have to steal one from Miami, and the ideal spot would be the second game as opposed to the 7th game. But no, I don't think it's over if they win the first two.
I don't think it's over either. Truth is, I thought Boston actually played well, considering the circumstance and the shorthanded nature of the team, because of the fact that Boston really just had one bad quarter, as we talked about before. It was an awful quarter, but they played decently throughout, and Robert Williams was very good. So you're looking at a spot where you're talking about how the Celtics were missing Al Horford. You're wondering how Williams would look in his first game in about a week and a half. The optimistic part is Robert Williams looked really good.
Yeah, he did. But you found out what a difference not having Horford. I mean, not even, not having Horford go nuts for, 28, 32, whatever, just having him play his usual game and taking up space. Were you surprised that Miami put that much emphasis on defense that Duncan Robinson ended up playing not at all?
I would say no. We know Robinson can't guard anybody. So the real question is, when it comes to 3-point exclusive players, how much are you willing to sacrifice for a little bit of an offensive boost compared to getting torched on defense every possession? Because the truth is, that's kind of what happened to Peyton Pritchard in the second half. He was involved in every pick and roll, and Pritchard got absolutely cooked for the entire second half. The same thing would have happened to Duncan Robinson. The only difference is Pritchard can actually dribble.
Right. I thought they might put a little more emphasis on shooting the three to try to match Boston.
I did not expect Duncan Robinson to play basically at all.
Okay. Well, you weren't disappointed.
Well, because you think about all the other role guys they have. The truth is, they have Vincent, who was great yesterday. Strus is okay. Decent defender, decent rebounder, hit a couple of big shots late. And they also have Oladipo and Hero. So you look at the bench, they already have like 3 or 4 options for guards off the bench. They don't really need to use Duncan Robinson.
Right. Well, but none of them can shoot like he can.
Correct. But all of them are better defenders than Robinson.
Well, as you often say, you could be a better defender than Duncan Robinson.
That is true too.
You guys really said Boston? Do we really think Boston is that much better than Miami? No.
Scott's been on Miami since the beginning.
Yep. So no.
I'm a little bit more under the impression that Boston has a higher upside. Whether they can actually reach that upside over the course of 7 games because of the fact that they might be missing a couple players again for game 2, it throws a wrinkle into some predictions. But either way, I think Boston's ceiling is higher. I just believe Miami's more consistent.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I would say, especially the way they played in the postseason so far, they've probably impressed me more than any team out there. As far as I didn't really expect them to go this far, or at least be as dominating as they are.
The consistency really comes down to one guy on Boston, is Jaylen Brown.
Right.
And the fact that we know Tatum is going to have a couple of big halves and struggle in the second half. You'll see a lot of adjustments because you're not going to let Tatum beat you, but we know Tatum's capable of going for 46. The issue is Jaylen Brown, who's the second best player. Think about how many shot creators the Celtics actually have. Does Horford count as a shot creator? Probably not. We know Robert Williams isn't a shot creator.
Right.
Grant Williams is a stand in the corner 3-point shooter. So if you're talking about creating shots off the dribble, if you have Tatum and Brown's going to struggle half the time, then your offense might get a bit stagnant, and we saw that in the third quarter.
Yep, absolutely true. We're getting fairly well roasted in the comment section for being on Boston. First of all, again, I've been on Miami since the beginning.
I had Miami yesterday. So what are we complaining about?
The fact that I think we're extolling the virtues of Boston and how good they are.
I picked Miami to win the Eastern Conference before the season even started.
Okay.
I'm just acknowledging I think Miami's ceiling is I think that Boston's ceiling is higher. But once again,
in fairness, you did like Boston to win this series.
Yeah. Nothing has changed for my stance. I'm just acknowledging that the COVID outbreak for Horford definitely hurts that prediction. But I'm not roasting Miami. I think Miami is a great team. I think the series is going 6 or 7 no matter what. But if you're asking me which team I think has another gear, I think it's Boston. But based on what we've seen so far, they need Smart and Horford back pretty much ASAP.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. All right. Let's take a look at tonight's action, man. We've got this little basketball game out west. Maybe you've heard of these teams. It's Golden State and Dallas. 5.5 now for Golden State. Scott, are we getting into unplayable territory in this game?
Well, it depends on which side you like. I think Golden State's going to win.
Well,
I
knew you were on that side. So
I was going to say, looking at the scheduling spot, it's not as bad as the Boston spot because you ended up having an extra day off from the Game 7 because Game 1, of course, is Wednesday compared to Boston's Tuesday. But from what I've seen from the Mavericks and Jason Kidd, they're late bloomers over the course of a 7-game series. Kind of like a Ty Lue philosophy. They're willing to, let's just say, experiment in the first couple of games of a series to see what works. They'll make the adjustments, and they'll dominate. So even if you like Dallas in the series, which I know you mentioned yesterday, I believe you might agree that for Golden State to be at home with the extra time off because they beat Memphis on, I believe, Friday, I think. So they had an extra couple days off. I think Golden State wins Game 1 somewhat convincingly, but I think the series will be tough.
Yeah, Golden State won that game on Friday.
So
I do want to point out that unlike the Miami getting them at a dog price, where I like that team. I think they have a really good shot to win. I was picking the Mavs simply from a value standpoint.
Yeah.
When you're climbing up in the plus 190 range or something.
Well, you can argue the Heat automatically had value too because the home team getting a home Game 7 was an underdog.
Sure, absolutely.
But what do you think? Because I know you think Dallas has a decent price, but Golden State at home, undefeated at home in the playoffs. We've seen Dallas tends to struggle in Game 1s. I'm going to go with Golden State.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the way Golden State snapped back after losing by 39 to Memphis.
I thought that was the most impressive performance of the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. And that ended up being a 14-point win that really wasn't that close. That showed me that when the chips were down, this veteran team knows how to get it done and come together. Veteran team doing veteran team things. So yeah, I'm on Golden State in this game too. I think my ceiling when this is going to be 6 or 6.5.
I think my ceiling right now is 5.5. I don't really want to lay more than that, but I think the main story of this series, which is why I do think Golden State can give Dallas problems, they can play effective small ball defense while also being a fantastic rebounding team. And that was the main question mark I had with Golden State. Because Golden State in the regular season was not a very good rebounding team. And then we saw them go up against Memphis, who was the number 1 rebounding team in the league the entire season. And with the exception of Game 5, Golden State dominated the glass in pretty much every other game. And I know that Looney might not be able to play that much in this series because of the Luka switching, etc. But they out-rebounded Memphis 70-44 in the closeout game.
And remember, Memphis is the team that led the NBA.
Yes, they out-rebounded the leading rebounding team by 26 in a closeout game. So I think that Golden State with Wiggins with Draymond, with really everybody in the small ball lineup embracing the importance of rebounding, I think Golden State's going to clean up on the glass in the entire series.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think Golden State proved to me they can rebound.
Yeah. Well, of course, Looney had 22.
Yeah.
So, you're going to cut into those numbers if he doesn't play as much.
Yeah. So you can cut into the 26 rebound margin. We'll say they'll win by 12. That's still a lot.
I talked about it before. This is a team, this Dallas Mavericks team, that was led in rebounding by Luka Doncic, and he had 11 rebounds per game, and nobody else had more than 6.
I think that was the main issue that I was trying to think for why Phoenix underachieved. Besides the fact that, of course, Chris Paul, Booker, and Ayton didn't show up, but I think the main issue that I had with Ayton in that series was his lack of aggressiveness or lack of aggression, and the fact that he really didn't do a good enough job of dominating on the glass when he was matched up against Kleber. And I feel like Golden State should stick to the game plan of Game 6 against Memphis. Let your best players shoot a bunch of threes and dominate on the glass. And I'm not sure what Dallas's counter would be. Does Dallas have a counter? What are you going to do? You're going to play Dwight Powell more minutes? I don't think he's very good.
No, and he doesn't. His rebounding numbers when he's in there aren't that good, and
Kleber's not a great rebounder either.
No,
so
that's why Luka Doncic leads your team in rebounding.
So Golden State might be undersized, but they are ferocious on the glass, and I do think that's an element that Dallas really does not have an answer for, and I think that's going to be the story of the series. So that's actually why I'm taking Golden State to win the series. I think they'll just generate enough second chance points to win.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Somebody was asking earlier about player props. Anything you like tonight? Some of the main Cats numbers. Luka's 33.5. Curry's 27.5. Draymond 7.5. I can't get to the window fast enough to bet the under on Draymond.
I actually did a player prop podcast today, so I have 3 that I like.
Okay.
Luka over 9.5 rebounds. We kind of just covered it, but he's recorded at least 10 rebounds in 7 of his first 10 playoff games this season. If you want to go for a dark horse candidate or an X factor, Dinwiddie over 11.5 points. He scored at least 17 in each of the 2 regular season meetings against Golden State, and Golden State really does not have enough quality defense off the bench to guard Dinwiddie. So I think he actually has a decent matchup. And Kevon Looney under 5.5 points. He recorded 20-plus rebounds. He only recorded 4 points in Game 6. He has no offensive talent. We talked about how good he was on the glass in that game. We're assuming he's going to play, 15 minutes in this game because he's a defensive liability against Dallas's three-point shooting?
I think the 15 to 18-minute range sounds about right, yeah.
I'll take the under 5.5 because unless he has a wide-open layup, he's not going to shoot. So I like the under 5.5 for him as well.
Okay. Rand's pointing out that Bam was off last night. Hero played good. He said Miami's very deep. Yep.
Bam was off offensively. Defensively, Bam was fantastic.
Yeah. Very good. All right. So moving on to the ice, Scott. We had a couple kickoff yesterday, and we've got a couple more tonight. We've got the Rangers in Carolina. Carolina laying a big price there at 165. And we've got the battle for Alberta.
Yep.
Calgary, again, laying a big price at minus 160.
It's going to be a hell of a series.
Should be a lot of fun, isn't it?
Should be. That Edmonton-Calgary series, that's must-watch TV for me.
Is that number a little tall for that opening game?
Which one? The 6.5 or the actual line for Carolina?
No, the Calgary Edmonton spread, the money line rather. Should that be more in the 140 range?
Feels like it. Calgary is a team that I really liked going into the playoffs because I do think defensively they are solid. Now Markstrom was not great in net against Dallas, and he looked a lot worse because Ottinger was on the other side. But I think 140 sounds about right. You can go through the regular season meetings, and it was tied 2-2. A lot of high scoring games in there. The last meeting in late March, the Flames scored 9 goals. So yeah, the Flames offensively has some firepower. Edmonton's defense we've seen has struggled at times, but I got to give kudos to Mike Smith. He was very good. in the first series. The game 1, he had the gaff with the mishandling of the puck, had the game 7 shutout. Impressive. Markstrom was pretty good too. But for me, I do think that this game in the series as a whole is a toss-up because you're basically asking if they can contain McDavid. I think the reason why I like the Flames in the series is because I still don't trust Edmonton's depth. They have McDavid, Draisaitl, and Evander Kane. That's basically it, right? Like, they don't really have any other weapons.
Well, that does seem to be the group that gets most of the things done.
I've never been a real Nugent Hopkins guy. No offense to Cat Scratch Fever, but I'm not a big Nugent Hopkins guy. I think he's okay. But for the most part, I just think Calgary has more lines that are capable of doing damage. And if they can even somewhat contain McDavid or Draisaitl, Edmonton's going to fall apart. So I'll go with Calgary. As for each individual game, I actually expect to see a lot of overtime games. I think this will be a very close series.
Okay, very good. Rick says nobody appreciates his picks. I'm still going to listening and hitting the stupid like button.
Which picks? Share the picks.
Yeah, put them out there, man. I'm sure he did somewhere.
I dare you. Share the picks in the chat box.
Rick, you got to remember, I'm old, and as I watch this stuff roll past, as we're trying to do like the things as well, I'm gonna miss things. We talked about that the first show we ever did. Like, if you comment and I miss it, it ain't because I'm missing it. I mean, it ain't on purpose. It's just because I'm missing it. So apologies if I didn't see your picks, and they have been very good lately. So do pay attention to Rick's picks if he puts them up there. All right. So
you have any thoughts on the Carolina New York game?
You know, I really like the way this Carolina team has been playing. I just, man, those. It's like going to the store and discovering how expensive everything is. I just really don't want to get involved in either one of those games at minus 160. I might consider taking a shot with the puck line. But I'm more anxious to take the puck line with the Hurricanes than I would be with Calgary. I think, but I wonder how much the Rangers have left at this point and how much they took out of them.
For me, I was torn between two plays in that game. For my play of the day, it was either going to be the over 5.5 because the Rangers are 7-0 to the over and the Hurricanes are 6-1 to the over in the playoffs so far. The other play was Carolina in regulation because Carolina I just think is the much better team. And even though New York beat Pittsburgh in 7, props to them. You know, it takes a lot of skill and a lot of mental resolve to come back from 3-1 down.
Right.
Crosby was also dead for a game and a half. I think if Crosby was healthy, they probably lose in 5. But Igor's a very good goalie. The defense is awful. And Igor has to bail them out all the time because they leave a bunch of guys wide open. Right. And Carolina's good enough defensively and offensively to generate more chances and to generate more goals. So for me, even though Igor is a solid goalie, props to him, he's probably going to win the Vezina. I think Carolina's the more fundamentally sound team. And even though they won 7 against Boston, they are 4-0 at home.
You know, I got the feeling that like Igor's watching Bennington play going, yeah, I feel you, brother.
I'm just being honest. Igor's a great goalie, but if you watch the games, he's constantly forced to stop a bunch of high-quality shots.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
all right. So for the record, Rick likes the Blue Jays tonight. So and the Rays. So plan accordingly.
The Rays, they have a doubleheader today.
Doubleheader. Rays get rained out? No, the Rays played yesterday.
No, I'm just asking because they're up 4-1 in the 7th inning.
Okay. Oh, well.
So I was wondering if they were playing again. They are not.
I don't think so. No.
All
right. Good. Well, congratulations, Rick. Looks like you're rock and rolling on that one. And so you got the over. You got Carolina. You got Carolina win the series.
Yes. I think Carolina wins the series pretty handily, 5 or 6. The Rangers have some talent. Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad. I get it. That defense is so bad. There's just so many lapses in just defense that I expect Carolina to generate a bunch of odd man rushes. With Svechnikov, Aho, Teravainen, they just got a bunch of weapons. I'll go with Carolina there. Props to the Rangers and all, but I think you would agree Pittsburgh was a mediocre team. if Crosby doesn't get hurt, New York probably gets run out of the building because they were down 2-0 when he got hurt.
Right. Yeah, that was very fortuitous for them for sure. I'll take Carolina on the puck line here. I'll put a little value on it.
Well, we've seen both coaches pull the goalie religiously, so if you're up 1 goal with 3 minutes to left, don't really worry about it because you should get a bunch of opportunities. But I really do think Carolina is a lot better than the Rangers.
JC Stone talking a little bit about the Players' Championship. Tiger plus 6,600. Scheffler's a lock. A lock. I don't think anybody's ever a lock to win a golf tournament. Maybe a lock for top 10 or something.
Tiger in 2003, maybe. But Tiger at 66-1. I know Circa was offering 102-1. So you can fly to Vegas if you want to put some actual coin on it. But do I think Tiger's going to win anything? No. I mean, we talked about this for the last major. Tiger is a great story. And the fact that he's still playing golf competitively is borderline miraculous. Am I picking him to win a tournament? No, because he has to walk 72 holes, and I'm not sure how well he's going to hold up. Now, I will give him props. He did hold up pretty well for the first day of the last tournament he was in. Everything fell off a cliff after that, but we're just not going to talk about it, you know?
That was the Masters, right? It wasn't the
Yes,
last.
but I'm saying, but if you follow the tournament, day 1, fine. Day 2 through 4, horrible. But I'm not surprised. 66-1, Tiger should blindly be 125, if not higher, to 1 in basically every tournament because he's played 4 holes of real golf, not including pro-am stuff with his son, in the last, 2 years? Year and a half?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right.
Based on circumstances, he should be closer to like 150-1. What would you price Tiger at? 150, 200?
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere in the mid ones. I'm with you. I just don't know how he keeps up that pace to lead a tournament for 4 days or to keep himself in a position to come from behind. I don't know how he keeps himself close through 4 days.
I think the best play for Tiger, if you want to bet him to lead something, first round. Just hope he has a bunch of birdies in the first round, but I don't think that's going to work out either. Tiger's a great story. I'm rooting for him. But you're looking at a situation where, based on health and age, the odds that you're getting on any given tournament for Tiger are blind. It's just robbery in broad daylight.
Okay.
There's no other way to put it, you know?
You know what? I would say that's true with about anybody else. But, we saw Tiger win the Masters in 2017, right?
Yes.
Counted him out at that point after all the back.
17 or 18. I'm trying to remember when it was.
One of the two.
Either way. But 66-1 on principle is offensive.
No, you got to be triple digits.
Yeah, it has to be triple digits. By the way, if you actually like Tiger, take him in a matchup. Hope the other guy misses the cut. Take Tiger to make the cut. There are other ways to bet Tiger at potential plus money, but to win a tournament, that's asking a lot.
I do like the Scheffler pick. You're talking about somebody playing good golf right now.
I can't call it a hot take. He's the number 1 golfer on the planet.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, he also won the Masters. he's pretty good at golf. Yeah, I really haven't done much research into the upcoming tournament. Maybe if I look into it, we'll have a play or something. Maybe, but I don't really have much. Do you?
No.
I'd look into Spieth. Spieth came in second last week. He's in decent form.
Okay. I always like to look at the comp courses that they play on,
Yeah.
So
just saying, if you want to go based on recent form, I know Spieth's a lunatic, but he did come in second place last week.
Yeah.
So he's in decent form.
He's a checker or record guy.
Yes, he is.
Bronco Devil says he's just here for the movie and music references. You've come to the right place, my friend. Welcome back.
Are you talking to me?
Welcome back, my friend, to the show that never ends.
Are you talking to me?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
All right. Very good. What are you seeing in baseball tonight, my friend?
Baseball, I know we're saving one play for later. There are a decent amount of afternoon games, of course, which are well underway. Looking at the rest of the card, though.
This is a portion of the show, by the way, on Wednesdays and Thursdays when I tell you all these games I really like, and then you tell me they started 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to go through everything, I like the Astros today. Of course, the day after theory, the Astros scored 13 runs yesterday after we lost the farm with them.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Pivetta on the mound for Boston. Do I really need to say much more? Because Pivetta sucks.
Well, you could say that Garcia's been pretty darn good with a sub-1 WHIP and a 2.94 ERA, and he's on the hill for Houston. So
Pivetta's just been getting absolutely destroyed, game
good.
in, game out. We won yesterday with this team. I don't mind the Marlins again. Pablo Lopez 1.05 ERA. Gray's been okay, but the Nationals can't hit. And Miami's been really dominant over Washington this season, as they should, because Washington's 12-26. But I am looking at the Marlins there. The team's playing pretty good ball lately, and the Nationals stink. So I don't mind that. I like the over in the Angels-Rangers game. We talked about that on Total Chaos.
Let me ask you about that game. Is Lucy finally going to hold the football, or is Charlie Brown going to fall on his ass again? Because
For Dunning or for Ohtani?
not for the Angels, because they just haven't played well in this series. They lose the first one. Are they going to be able to come back in this one? With this should be a what looks like a serious mismatch on paper.
They should. I'm just going to take the over because I believe every game that they've played up to this point, you've had a large amount of overs between those two teams.
Yep. You've had good pitchers that have not done well as far as the starters go. Bronco Devils got a Yankees Dodgers Mets parlay. That's about, what is it, 700 million or so?
Could be. All I know is that you have Bueller on the mound against Davies. I'm not a Davies guy. I haven't been a Davies guy for years. The Dodgers had a very nice doubleheader. They had a nice doubleheader sweep yesterday. I think the Dodgers roll. I know that Magellan was talking about 6.5 for the alternative for the Dodgers against the Pirates. Mm-hmm. That might be a little bit much, but I don't mind 2.5. I think the Dodgers win this game probably by 4+ runs. You?
Yeah. It's hard to get in front of the Dodgers Express right now. It really is. They go through stretches where they are just virtually unbeatable. And
scored a bunch of runs. Bueller, you're assuming, is going to pitch well at home. Arizona is not a great lineup. Dodgers should win 6-2, something like that, 7-3.
Yeah, none of that would surprise me at all. Davies has been decent. It could be and you've seen the Dodgers where they will, kind of screw around for 4 or 5 innings and then kind of.
Then they'll go for 5 in the 6th inning.
By the time you think you got them right where you want them, yeah, they explode for 5 in the 6th, and it's over. So, yeah, I'm a fan. All right, anything else?
We're saving one play, but besides that, not really. You have any interest in backing Snell against Wheeler plus money? Because Wheeler minus 145, his numbers overall this season are not very good. However, you want to look at the last couple of outings. And the last 3 starts, he's given up 3 runs combined in about, was that 19 innings, give or take? Last 3 starts, 19 innings, 3 runs. Yep. So he's actually been pitching pretty well. But Snell has not pitched yet this season.
Right.
And the Padres are the much better team. Would you gamble on Snell at like plus 130, or would you rather get the surer thing in Wheeler based on recent form? Because the Phillies bullpen traumatizes me to no end.
Yeah, and no, I'm not generally a guy that likes to jump right in on a first start back from an injury.
It's a good price,
but it is a good price. That's the thing. Catching it at plus 130 or so, to me, that's hard to argue with. So yeah, I don't love either one of these bullpens. They're statistically almost identical. So I will. I'll just take the plus money with the team I think is probably hitting the ball better right now.
Yeah, I agree. Wheeler could pitch a gem, but
yeah,
we're going to lay 145 with Philly.
I am not.
Really? Like, not against San Diego.
Not going to do that, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So
is it time?
It is time. It is that time, everybody. You know what time it is. It's Wednesday. It's time to put on your good hump day overalls. Get your straw hat on. Climb aboard the John Deere. Get those keys out and fire that bad boy up, because, kids, once again, it is time to bet the farm. All right. I left it on the wall again. It's
all
right.
Good.
It's right up there. All right, Scott, I know we had a farm play yesterday. How'd it go?
We ended up having the Marlins minus 1.5 at, I believe, plus 125, and ended up cashing.
Hey, cue the banjos.
Yeehaw.
Now I feel really bad for not having my hat to be able to dance around.
All good.
All right, fair enough. All right, brother. Well, we got one cooked up before today. There was one game we avoided when it came to talking about tonight's action, but we're going to avoid it no longer. Scott, what do we got cooked up before today's Bet the Farm?
So for this one, we're going to go to the Yankees and Orioles game, and we're going to go with the Yankees. First 5 -1 at around minus 115. Simply put, the Yankees, of course, have been the much better team, but if you want to look at first 5 scoring, these teams are not even close. The Yankees are averaging 2.49 runs per game in the first 5 innings, which ranks tied for 11th in the league. The Orioles, as you expected, at the way bottom. The Orioles are averaging just 1.67 runs per game in the first 5, which ranks 29th. And you have Garrett Cole on the mound. Last 4 starts, 25 and 1/3 innings pitched, 4 total runs. Jordan Lyles on the mound for Baltimore, 2 starts against the Yankees this season, 10 innings pitched, 6.3 ERA, not good. And the Orioles offensively have been a disaster. The Orioles have scored just 9 runs in its last 5 games combined. We think the Yankees should do a lot offensively. Truth is, even 2 runs might be enough to cash this because we're not sure the Orioles are going to score in the first 5. But the Yankees, with Judge, with Stanton, with everybody hitting the ball as well as they are at this point in time, will take them to open up a decent lead early on. And with 1 being a push, I like those odds.
All right, very good. So that's going to do it for the farm play, and that's going to do it for the show on this Wednesday. We do thank you guys for stopping by, and thanks for not only listening and watching, but thanks for participating. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Talking to you guys in real time is what makes this one fun. So everybody have a great day. Good luck, of course, on all of your plays. Hope you guys do nothing but cash those winners. But until tomorrow, we're wishing you the best. We'll see you mañana on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I will once again be right back here in our never-ending quest to help you guys head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.